The Lord is near to all who call on Him, to all who call on Him in truth. Salmos 145:18. Hello, my name is Marco Antonio, and we will continue it with the reading. We start with chapter 3. When a misfortune strikes us, we can overcome it either by removing its cause or else by changing the effect it has on our feelings. That is, by interpreting the misfortune as a good whose benefits may only later become clear. Religion and arts, as well as metaphysical philosophy, strive to infect and change in our feelings in part by changes the way we have experiences. For example, with the age of the tenant whom the Lord loves, he gestures, and in part by awakeness, a pleasure in pain, in emotion generally, which is where tragedy has its starting point. The more a person tends to reinterpret and justify the less will he confront the cause of the misfortune and illuminate the momentary palliation, narcotization is also enough for his more serious suffering. The more the role of religion and narcotic arc decreases, the more squarely to men comfort the real elimination of the misfortune. This is bad for the tragic poet, but it is even worse for the priests, for until now they fed on the narcotization of human misfortune. Sorrow is knowledge. Sorrow is knowledge something as those error. How gladly. Okay. 1 moment, please. Okay. How gladly one would change the false claims of prince for truth, which would be as calmate and suicidas those errors. But there are no such truths, and most philosophy can oppose those errors with other metaphysical fiction. The tragic sick is that we can no longer believe those dogmas once we have the method of truth in our minds, and yet we had become so sensitive that we need cure and comfort. Helped the nature mind learned the truths from the truth he has recognized. Sorrow is knowledge. They who know the most must more good depends. The tree of knowledge is no that of life. There is no better cure that to conjure up the fasting freely of horas, quid eternis memorem concilis animum fatigas, cur non sud alta vel Platono vel habt penu Jacentes, any degree of frivolity or melancholy is better than a return to Christianity without penning what can become a leader and enjoyer of mankind. Woe to him who would live and no longer had that clean conscience. During through and religion during the Enlightenment, people did not do justice to the significance of religion, but later, in opposing the Enlightenment, they went too far, treating religion with love or infatuation. They believe religions contain the distinct understanding of the work. Science had to strip away mystery truth in a no medical form. Some claim religion is both allegorically hiding ancient wisdom. This view is completely erroneous. This view is completely erroneous. No one would dare defend in today had no Schopenhauer supported it with his eloquence. He held us understand religion, but was mistaken about its value for knowledge. Never had religion contains truth, neither as dogma nor as allegory. For every religion is born from fear and need. Sometimes religion adopts philosophical ideas just to survive. This thread of theology Claro, Sociology, Philosopher often project the outfeeling as universally truth. Thus, their system resemble religious doctrines. There is no relationship between religion and real science. They live on different stars. Any philosophy that mixes religion with science because suspicion. It is no longer science, but religion disguised as science. Okay, consequence and religion. Incidentally, if all people were to worry about certain religious sins, the extent of a good, for example, this would not prove them true. Consensus, Nietzsche's can only point to foolishness. There is no agreement among the wise. The basis of all ages smile and agree. It is foolish to wait for fools to improve. Okay. The consensus of the wise is this: the consensus of the masses is foolishness. If we go back to ancient time, people did not believe in natural laws. There was no idea of causality. Everything was magical. Ruin did not move ancient magic did. Illness and death were caused by spirits or demons. Nature was seen as a realm of conscious forces and arbitrary powers. People even made sacrifices to tools of objects. Man was once the rule and nature was chaos. Now it is the opposite. Nature is law and man is uncertain. Moderate man finds peace in nature, order, and symmetry. Primitive man feared nature, and freedom and chaos. If he wanted to control it through rituals, laws, and religion, is there a way to make nature obey rules like we do? Okay, one moment, please. The thinking of men who believe in magic and miracle is based on imposing all on nature. Religious worship is the result of this thinking. How can the weaker control the stronger? Through prayer, submission, gifts, and flattery, man tries to influence the forces of nature. Love buying and is about more powerful than player is magic. Man believes he can control spirits through magical means. To control senses and beings, one uses what belongs to inherit nails, food, image, or name. The belief everything spiritual has something physical attached to it. Adrian it seemed to share one spirit. A moved stone is thought to contain a spirit. Everything with a body is accessible to magic, even spirit. If a good is tied to an image, one can against that image. People may punish of certain their goods when they feel abandoned. In some cultures, images of goods were beaten or drag in the mat. Even in Catholic traditional similar acts occurred during crisis. All these magical relationship to nature have gone into with countless ceremonies. Finally, when there confusion because to bring people try to organize and systematize them, believing that by doing so they can guarantee the favorable course of nature, especially the cycle of the season. The meaning of religion worship is to direct nature and place it under a spell for human benefits, to impose a law on nature which and the belief it does not have. Whereas today man wants to understand the laws of nature in order to submit to them. In short, religious worship is based on magical ideas between man and man. The Magician came before the prince, but it is also based on more knows ideas. It assumes sympathy, goodwill, gratitude, the acts of listening to supplicants and agreements between enemies. Even in private cultures, man is now simply a powerless slave of nature. In Green religion, there is the idea of coexisting between two or the earth. One more powerful, the gods, and one less powerful, humans, but both belong together and share a common origin. They do not need to be changed before each other. That is the ninth element in Greek religion. The combination of arts, even obscenity with religious feelings, shows us how some feelings are disappearing. This disappearing the sensibility that this is a possible nature is vanished. We understand only historically that it once existed in festivals of Demeter and Dionysus and Christian passion plays and mystery plays. But even we are still familiar with the sublime in link with the burlesque, for example, the sentimental blender with the ludicrous, and this a later age will perhaps no longer understand. When we hear the old bells ringing out on a Sunday morning, we ask ourselves, can it be possible? This is for you classifying 2,000 years ago to who said he was the Son of God. The profound for such a claim is wanting. We send our time the Christian religion is surely an antiquity jutting out from a far distant olden time, and the fact that people willing such a claim is perhaps the oldest part of this genetic. A god who conceived children with a mortal woman, a wise man who calls upon us to work, no more to yak, no more. Someone who has his disciple dreams his pleasure for miraculous intervention, sinning against a good, atoned for by a good. The figure of the cross as a symbol in a time that no longer knows its meaning. How horribly all these words over us from the grave of the ancient paths. Are we to believe that such things are still believed? The grave did not see the American about them as master and themselves as servants. They saw them as an ideal, not as some which opposed to their own nature. They felt related to them with mutual interest. Man considered himself know where he's created such gods and relates to them, whereas the Italian people have a religion of fear, full of anxiety to arbitrary and tormenting power. where the Olympian gods we saw wrote a great life became darker and more fearful. Okay, come on. Christianity, on the other hand, grabs and shatter man completely and submerged in as if in dead mire. Mire then all what allow the life of divine compassion to shine, so that the surprised man saw for a moment that he carrying all of heaven whistle in all psychological invention of Christian work to work this thing excess of feelings. Christianity what to destroy, shatter, stand, intoxicate. It does not want a moderation. There are sober and fishermen on whose religion is embroidered like the head of a higher humanity. These men do well to remain religious if beautifies them. All men who have no expertise with any weapon become servile. For such men, religion is very useful. If Christianity were true, if we be foolish not to devote oneself entirely to salvation. The everyday Christian is a beautiful figure. It is a trip to think that all men are worthless and sinful, so that contempt for others becomes impossible. As soon as a religion prevails, it has as enemies those who would have been Friedrich disciples. Christianity arose to lighten the heart, but now it must perish buried. Therefore it will perish. An agreeable opinion is accepted as true. It believe did not make us happy, it would not be believed. Whoever allows religious feelings to grow within himself cannot stop it. He nature gradually changes the whole range of his young men because clothed. Phyllis cannot stand still beyond your as long as one knows very well the strength of weaknesses of his teachings, his art, or his religion, its power, it still is lying. The disciple who has no eye for the weakness generally has more power that he master. We sound blind disciple, and no man or his work has ever gained great influence to promote knowledge one sometime with it to stupid. There is not enough religion nevertheless, amid nature, man is always the child's Homer must have been deeply religious. He used believe freely, like a sculptor with clay. This freedom is seen in great artists like Aeschylus, Aristophanes, Shakespeare, and God. The visions and raptures of saints are actually a sting of illness, which they interpreted differently due to religious belief. Socrates, daimonion may also have a kind of illness. The same applies to prophets and priests. Their meaning depends of the interpreters. Greek men and saints, interpreter who misunderstand them. This misunderstanding benefits mankind. Because it was observed that an excited state would often kill the mind and produce happy ideas. It was thought that is the highest excitement one who attained the happiest inspiration. Thus, a madman was revered as a wise man and oracle. This is based on a false conclusion. Modern science aims at the length, pain, and the longer possible life, a kind of internal happiness, though very modest compared to religion. There is no enough love if the work to give it away to imaginary villains. The Catholic Church uses all means to place man its actual emotional states taken away from cold calculation and rational thinking. A church filled with sick sounds, the voice of prince transmitting tension to the congregation, so that people listen us more fearfully as if a miracle were about to order. The architecture creates fear of a hidden divinity who what to restore this once its beliefs are good. Yet the effect remain an inner work of deep, tender, intuit, repentant and joyful feelings was created room worship want still insist in the soul today grew one of that process. One moment, please. However much one thinks he has lost the habit of religion, he has not lost it to the degree that he would not enjoy enjoy encountering religious feelings and moods without any conceptually content, as for example is music, and is philosophy shows us the justification of metaphysical wholes. We approach it with a words disposition. Here it is easier for the philosopher to make his proof, because what he wants to hit agrees with a heart that glad reasons. We notice that free thinkers often oppose only dogmas but gain the religious feelings. It pains them to abandon it. Scientific philosophy must be careful not to smuggle in error this net. Even should speak of intuition of truth, which should be forbidden. Between truth and intuition there is an bridgeable gap. The former come from intellect, the latter from think. Langer that no proof that found exists. To intuit does not mean to know, but to which of fear something. Intuition does not bring us closer to certainty, which is temply willing that religious part of philosophy have better proved, but the opposite is true. You only which thou once comfort as is true, this which misleads us into accenting a bad argument as good ones. Okay. Thank you for listening, and you tomorrow. Please happy. Bye bye.